start recording. Brilliant. So the first thing we're actually going to have a look at today, and it's not going to be a really long webinar like the other ones, but it's just because I wanted to show you some really key features that you can do to make your programming life a lot easier. So we're actually going to have a look at something called show import to start off with. Now, the show file that I have at the moment, you can see we've got a few playbacks, we've got palettes, groups, and so on. Let's say, as an example, that I have a few playbacks and a few palettes from a completely different show file that I really like, and I'd like to import them into this show file. So what we have to do first is we need to import the show. So to do this, we're going to go to the disk button, go to import show, soft key E. I'll actually make this a bit bigger, and it will show you your show browser, so you can pick which show you want to get those bits of information from. So as an example, let's say this one. So I've got a show file here which I know has some playbacks that I quite like, and I want to bring them into my program, my current show. I'm going to select this one that was slightly less older. Once you have selected the show file, go to import, and it will load a little bit. Here we go. And then it looks like a little bit confusing when you first have a look, but don't worry. Have a look at where my cursor is at the top left of this window, the show library window. You can flick between the shows. So here it will show you all the fixtures that you currently have that's mapped, that's currently patched, so to speak, in your current show. This one here is the show that I want to get all the information from. I want playbacks from this show. By default, it currently goes to a filter called mapper. So your mapper filter here shows you on the left-hand side all the fixtures that are patched in your current show, and on the right-hand side, it's got all of the fixtures that were patched in the show you want to get the information from. Now, before we import anything, so before we import any playbacks, palettes, and so on, we need to do this process first. We have to map fixtures from this show file where we're getting the playbacks from to our current one. Now, fixture mapping, and it doesn't have to be the same fixture type, by the way. It can be any fixture type. You're just using it as a reference guide, as a kind of reference that's going back and back and back, so it knows exactly where the information is coming from. I'm just going to quickly go to another menu before we come back to this one. Let's go to the show library filter just here on the top left. So your show library, there we go, will show you, depending on which show you select. So if I select current show here, it will show me all the playbacks, fixtures, groups, macros, workspaces, palettes, everything that's in this show. So this is my current show, this is what I have. This one is the show that I want to get the playbacks from. Now, let's filter it by playbacks on the left, just there. So you can filter it by different type. And I could say, well, actually, I want the whole of these playbacks to come into my show on page 2, for example. If I was to do that now, what would happen is that it won't know, my current show will not know where the information is coming from. So this is why we have to map our fixtures first, because the fixtures that were reused originally for these playbacks that are in this show file here, the one that says LDI, are not the ones that are in the current show file. So there's going to be some changes. So we need to say, okay, well, we've got, let's have a look, and we're going to use as an example the beans and the BMFLs. Okay, so if I go to the show library, the one that I actually do want to import, if I can find it, it should be at the top, yay, is this one. I know for a fact that this playback works for the spots, the BMFL fixtures. It's just by luck that I actually have the same fixture type that was used to record these in this show file, the same ones in my current show. So the BMFLs were originally used to record this playback for shapes, which is absolutely fine, because if I go back to the mapper, I actually do have, let's have a look, BMFLs in my current show. Even though they're the same fixture type, regardless, I still have to map them. I still have to say, this is my current show, these are my BMFLs. I want them to do that shape playback, so it has to reference from the original ones, which we're now going to map to these ones. So to do it, we're going to go to the right hand side and find the BMFLs. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm going a little bit fast. Oh, there we go. Nice and labelled as well. So you'll notice here I've still got the same legends actually. I've got rear truss, mid truss, front truss, BMFL and so on. To be honest, you actually don't have to do the exact same fixture to map to the same one. I'll give you an example. We've got rear truss BMFL here. I'm going to map the one that says floor BMFL, tap the empty space on the mapped fixture column, and now it's now got a reference point to refer back to the original shape on that file. For the same fixture type, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to use one fixture when you're mapping to per fixture. So I can select this one again that says floor BMFL and tap there. And you'll notice, if you have a look at my cursor, you'll notice that it has a big green tick which says you've mapped it to certain fixtures, and it will have the fixtures that you've mapped it to. And there's not really a limit on how many you map it for. And as an example, just to make it quicker too, when I tap the same one, drag and hold all the way down to my BMFLs. I just can't remember where they finish. Tap it again. There we go. And they've all got the same reference to that same fixture type. So what should happen now is when I do go to the show library and import that playback, it will then, once it's fired, refer to the fixtures which it's meant to work for, which are these ones, which will then refer to the original fixtures here when it was originally recorded. Now, you may think, or you may not think, okay, well, what if they're different fixture types? Can you do it with different fixture types? Yes, you can. If these were not BMFLs, if I recorded that particular playback, the shape one, using MMXs as an example, all you would do is the same process. You would select an MMX from the show that you're getting the playback from. You would tap in at the mapped fixture column and do exactly the same. And that way it will get the information from it. Yes, different fixtures have different attributes. You'll have fixtures that will have 49 channels, you'll have fixtures that will have 30 DMX channels. They don't do as much. The gobos, for example, the position attributes may have inverted or slightly different values. But that's when we're going to have a look at something called exchange mapping afterwards. Okay, so enough of me blabbing on. That's the fixture mapping. So now we can go on to the fun part and import that playback. So if we go to Show Library tab, I am going to import this one onto a playback here. But I might do it on page 2 actually, so it's a bit easier. Two ways that you can import certain functions and groups and so on. I'm going to go to my context window. So because I'm using the Titan 1 simulator, I'm going to select this option here. But if you're on a console, all of these options will be on your right-hand side of your screen, just there. You can quick assign certain things, or you can just move them manually so you know where they're going. If I quick assign it, I'll show you how it works. You can select quick assign, select what you want to import, which is this playback. It will go red, and you'll notice if I go to quick import here, so key A, just loads. There we go, and it assigns it to the first empty space, the first empty handle. It's exactly the same with colours and anything else, other palettes. So if I do certain palettes, let's have a look. Oh, here we go. So if I go back to quick assign, select all of these because I want all of these, and then I go to quick import, excuse me, soft key A. It will take a while to import. Let's have a look at our positions window. So I did the drummer one to start off with. Ah, yeah, there we go. So here it is. I imported the drummer, the singer one, and the audience position. So they imported to the first empty space. So this one was the first empty one. So anything you do will go to the first empty space, only if you quick assign. If you want to manually do it, so you can tell it exactly where to go, I'll show you now. If you lose your Show Library window, go to Open Workspace window, soft key F, go to Show Library, if I can find it. Oh, it's a bit slow. There we go. Soft key D. Voila, it's come back up. Now I want to import loads of colours. So to do this, I am going to not go to quick assign. There's a couple of options you can do. You can just hold and drag. So if I want all of these, when I hold and drag, Soft key A gives you the option to quick import. If you don't want to quick import, like me, go back to your groups and palettes workspace. Tap where you want it to assign. So I'm going to assign it just there. And it doesn't matter where you do it. That way you've got slightly more control of where you assign anything you import. Press exit. Okay, so let's see if it works. I'm going to minimize this for a bit. If we fire the playback, it's there. Grab the BMFLs, press locate. Yeah, there we go. And the reason why I had to locate it and put the intensity on is because that playback was recorded in channel mode, so it didn't have the intensity recorded. But I've got my shape because I've selected the BMFLs. They listen to the shape, which is then listening to the fixtures you mapped that it was originally created with. Any attributes don't tend to carry over from different fixture types that you map to another fixture type. We'll have a look at afterwards. That's exchange mapping. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask now. If not, we'll go and continue to the next topic. Cool, okay, if you haven't got any questions, we'll continue to the last bit actually for today. So we've had a look at show import. We've had a look as well at fixture mapping. The last thing that we're going to have a look at today is something that's called exchange mapping. This is something you usually tend to do once you've fixture exchanged two fixtures. So what I am going to do to start off with now is quickly load a new show file, do fixture exchange, and then I'll show you exchange mapping. So if you give me a minute, I will do that now. Okay, so I've loaded the show file. Let me just double check that this is the correct one. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly do some fixture exchange. So as an example, why you would want to use something called exchange mapping for your attributes. You've programmed your show, and you'll notice here that I've got some MOXs that I've patched. turned up to a venue and the venue said to you, oh, sorry mate, but you've got to use different fixtures. So what we can do is we can just swap the fixtures from the old ones that we've got to the new ones that we're meant to be using. But the issue that you have is if you've got entirely different fixture types and fixtures that are slightly different from each other, you're swapping them and they've got different attributes. So you may have a fixture that's got something like, I don't know, 49 channels, and you're swapping it for another one that's got something like 15, just as an example. This will affect your playbacks that you've recorded for your show. So we're going to have a little look at how to do that. First of all, we need to exchange the fixture. So if we go to, where is it? Patch view. And then we go to personality list. I know it off by heart now, let me just find the fixtures. So the fixture I'm actually looking for now is this one. Cool, mode 1. So this one's got 49 DMX channels. Other one that we have, I think, is about 30. So yeah, there is a slight difference between the channels, but that's absolutely fine. The program is clever enough and it will take it into account when you swap them. Once you select the new fixture, look on the right hand side. You'll notice on the soft keys you can change your information here. So if you've got more quantity wise that you actually need to swap, that's fine, you can change it here. I don't, I'm just going to do straight swap between the fixtures. So if I go back to my window, fixtures and groups, select all of the ones that say MMX. Right hand side, soft keys, it says, it's giving you two options. So before you actually exchange it, if you go to soft key C, it says use specified address. Tap it, it says use source fixture address. Your specified address is anything that you changed within patch view. So when you were in patch view, if you changed like the quantity or the DMX line or address, it will change it there. Because I didn't change anything and I actually want it to start from that line there and that address, say line 1, address 1, I'm going to put it on source fixture address so it will use the information that I told it to in this fixture window. Go to soft key B, exchange fixture, just wait for a little bit. Cool, and then remember to come out of patch mode and give it a new name. So if you go to set legend, select them all. There we go. So let's just see if they're working. So if you select them all, press locate. Yay, we've got them working, and my playback should now be updated as well, thankfully. Cool. So this one's now got the fixtures in because I exchanged them. Now let's say that I did that and I fired half my playbacks and they looked a little bit dodgy because some of the gobos weren't quite right or some of the colour information wasn't quite right. What you can do is go back into patch, go to patch view, and then go to a column called exchange mapping, and you'll notice that you've got on the left hand side the fixture that you exchanged from, which was the MMXs. So if I have a look, we can scroll down and it's got quite a few attributes that you can use. If you go to the right hand side, this column here, you'll notice this is destination fixture, this is for the BMFLs, so these are the ones that we just exchanged it to, and there's loads more there's loads more things we can do with it. If we have a look at the information, where's the gobo? If I select gobo on this one, which was from the MMX, you'll notice that it comes up with what looks like a spaghetti junction, but it's absolutely fine, I'll explain it in a bit. All it does is it shows you on this bit here, if you look at the kind of left column, it says gobo 1, this is what gobo 1 can do. It's got fixed indexed, 1, 2, 3, 4, shows you how many gobos you've got on that wheel as well. Right hand one shows you the same information but for the BMFL, so this is the fixture that we exchanged it to. If you notice when you did the fixture exchange, that the gobo in say one of the playbacks for that fixture just looks wrong, this is where you can change it, where you can map it. So if I have a scroll down to this one, let's go to fix bin gobo 1. So I've selected this one. It will show me rather than me having to look really closely at the line where it's mapped from. And it's mapped from Gobo 1 fixed bin, so that's cool. But if I go to number 2, we can see fixed bin 2 on the MMX destination it's got it from was fixed bin Gobo 2 as well. If that's not meant to be the right one, you can change it by selecting the Gobo it's meant to refer to. So if I go to, say, Gobo 4 on the BMFL, you'll notice as I select it, on the bottom, we can apply the changes, we can reset it, in fact, or we can just press cancel if you're not sure. But if you want to make the changes, press apply, red button. Oh, it's a little bit slow. And then go to soft key A where it says confirm. And that's changed it. And if you want to double check, you can just select it again. There we go. So it's got fixed bin Gobo 4 from the MMX, and it's referring now to the BMFL blade Gobo 5. So you can see that it's been changed, it's updated. These ones here on the left and the right, you'll notice the ones that look like a slightly weird yellowy greeny colour. Those are just the ones that it wasn't able to map. Cool. So these ones here are just the ones it wasn't able to map when you were doing your fixture exchange. If you want to map them, again, just select the one you want to map. You can select it here and then go to, say, CMY for MMX. If I can actually click it properly, that might help. There we go, CMY for BMFL, and you can decide where you want to map it. So it gives you more flexibility as well. But just remember, if that ever happens, it's in patch view, exchange mapping, and you'll be able to find it there. Cool. So yeah, we've had a look. I know it's not the longest webinar, but we've had a look at show import, fixture exchange, fixture mapping, and we've had a look at exchange mapping. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm recording this one, so I'll just pop it online by the end of the week. So if you ever forget, you guys can have a look back on it. Okay, if you haven't got any questions, then thank you for attending. The next webinar, top of my head, will be a couple of weeks because we've got a trade show that we're going to. Just keep an eye on the next week for the topics that will be up on that on the website as well. Any questions, feel free to email me at this address, which I am going to type to you now. It's there. And if you want to watch the video, it will be up on the website shortly. So I'll be around for another minute or so if you have got questions. If not, I hope to see you in a couple of weeks.